This is what a mean gene looks like.
I'm so stressed. I have 2 tests this week.
No amount of studying can help you. You've even failed the syllabus.
Now this is what a nice gene looks like.
Okay. Hey, are you alright? You look really stressed.
No, I have 2 tests this week. Can you help me study?
Absolutely.
It sounds like we need to take a look at the oxytocin receptor gene. Oxytocin is a hormone that promotes social bonding and pro-social behaviors. For this reason, it's also called the love hormone. But like any chemical in the brain floating around, it's only as good as the receptor that it binds to. A receptor is a protein on the surface of the cell that catches the hormone as it passes by. As oxytocin flows through the blood, it communicates with cells specifically by interacting with the receptor. One of the tests on our genetic SNP chip looks at a specific SNP called RS53576 on the oxytocin receptor gene. By the way, a SNP stands for single nucleotide polymorphism. RS53576 is a G to A mutation. Remember that DNA is made up of A's, T's, C's, and G's. This mutation affects the receptor, meaning that oxytocin can't properly interact with the cells anymore.
Homozygous A people, or people with 2 copies of the A allele, make up about 17.3% of the population. People homozygous for the G allele make up about 39.4% of the population, and people with 1 copy of each make up 43.3% of the population in the US. People with the G allele are more likely to feel less lonely, have more empathy, have more sensitive parenting techniques, exhibit lower rates of autism, and be less reactive to stress. Numerous studies have shown that there is a strong correlation with having the G allele and having things like higher empathy, optimism, and self-esteem. For just $100, you can purchase a genetic test in the form of a SNP chip, including 1 specific genetic variation. With this test, you'll be able to find out whether you're homozygous for a G or A allele, or a mix of both. With the results of this test, you'll be able to have the power of knowledge that your actions can be affected by your genes.
It's only $100! Before buying this test, consider the limitations. One limitation is that they don't know exactly how RS53576 affects the receptor. According to a SciCurious article, scientists don't know if it changes the shape of the protein or makes the oxytocin bind less well. Therefore, the test can't provide you with the proven cause for the genetic mutation. It can only tell you if you have it or not. Another limitation is that the effects of the mutation, as multiple studies point out, varies depending on the individual. For example, in his article, Young states, Kim found that Koreans are less likely than Americans to turn to their social circle for support because they are more concerned about burdening their friends and straining their relationship. This means that how an individual expresses a mutation is dependent on the community they belong to, meaning that the results can differ drastically among the individuals with the mutation.
Our third limitation is that even if you manage to pinpoint exactly how you're affected by the mutation, doing cognitive theory to negate the effects would be expensive, and you would have little to no effect because you can't really change your genetics. An individual with this genetic mutation wouldn't benefit from paying a cognitive therapist to help them change their thought patterns because the problem lies in their genes, not their brains. So the main ethical concern with individuals with the AA genotype finding out about their genetic predisposition from this test is that they're going to think that there's nothing they can do about it because if they have it, there's no treatment for it anyway. Thus, the people who are mean are going to continue being mean because they don't think that there's any way they can fix it. Finally, there's a financial concern with the SNP chip because it's kind of expensive and it's $100. Do you know what you could buy with $100? You could buy half a Hamilton ticket or probably 200 pencils.
In conclusion, be nice to one another. It's in your genes, probably.